Hello guys, today I have this video from Kirk as he debates this particular student, and the way it unfolds will surprise you. Let's jump into the video and watch.
I noticed you're wearing an American Lives Matter shirt. What is your message to this audience right now by wearing that t-shirt? What is your intended message?
Well, I think that we should put Americans above foreigners.
You know that the whole point of, the movement, that came with Lives Matter was originally for Black Lives Matter?
Yes, I'm intentionally appropriating it. Yeah.
And are you trying to eliminate the movement Black Lives Matter? Are you trying to not bring attention to it?
I mean, well, BLM is not exactly a movement that I would be associated with, but I believe all lives matter. American lives matter. If you're a Black American, Hispanic American, I don't care. All Americans' lives matter.
Would you take the time to recognize a group of people who have been marginalized historically and who are now asking for the same rights, the same privileges as white people in the society by letting
what rights do white people have that blacks don't?
So the issue is, it's not necessarily written in the law.
Oh, so it's like hidden.
That's the whole point. That's how marginalizing works.
Oh, so it's kind of like, it's like a ghost. You see it one day and you don't. And
because you as a white privileged person with money have never seen it, doesn't mean it doesn't
What privilege
exist.
do I as a white person have that a black person doesn't? What can a white person do in America that a black person cannot do? Be specific. Name one thing.
So there are so many issues in our society.
Name one thing. No, I got to drill you in. Name one thing a white person can do that a black person cannot do.
So the issue is racism, okay? You can technically do it, but your life may be put at risk if you find yourself in certain areas where you might not be accepted by your race, and then your life might be in danger.
Okay, what is racism? Can you define to me what racism is?
Racism, well, I don't have the exact description as it is seen in AP style or Wikipedia.
Can you just talk in the mic, please? I'm sorry, yeah.
Sorry. Racism is the lack of opportunities because of a race, the kind of putting a person to a side.
So can you name a single example in the last 20 years where blacks were discriminated en masse, where they've been put aside? Can you give me a specific example?
You can simply talk about police brutality and mass incarceration.
What percentage of murders do black Americans commit in America?
So there you have a point of there is over-policing in black communities, specifically
murders.
Lower income communities.
Blacks commit murders because of police? I'm not talking about murders of police.
You're twisting my words.
So why do blacks commit so many murders?
They don't.
So they're 13% of the population, and they do 55% of the murders in America.
So
why?
You're not even looking at the background of it. There is over-policing in lower income communities.
There's under-policing in lower income communities. Number two, you're trying to say that over-policing, even if that existed, which it doesn't, leads to the fact that 13% of the U.S. population accounts for 55% of the murders?
There is a target on people of color's backs, okay? So when a white person sees a person of color...
Prove it.
There is studies, there is research
give me one example. Give me one piece of evidence that there's a target on black people's back. In fact, I will submit to you there's the opposite. Black students can get into this college with lower test scores than white students. It's called affirmative action.
So now white people are the people who are struggling?
No.
Are they the marginalized ones?
I will go back to this, though. Can you name a specific example of what a black person cannot do that a white person can do? And be, again, specific. Anything.
I'm talking about So racism as a whole is not written in the law because that's not allowed.
The arrogance of these college kids, is genuinely alarming, ladies and gentlemen. It is, I mean, it's as if for a second, you think maybe you're watching a Hollywood script being acted out. But then when you realize that, no, this is actually real, this is actually someone's son, and his parents, sent him to school to learn, to make a better individual out of himself, and then pretty much this is what you are getting, listening to this young man speak. It's sickening, and it's deeply alarming, like I said. It is, it is. It's so frustrating. is this really happening? I wonder, what are they teaching kids nowadays in schools? What are they teaching kids nowadays in schools? The ignorance and the arrogance of the youth is astonishing. It is. It is astonishing. Oh man, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Well, let's watch further.
But it still exists.
Then give me an example.
I just told you.
You said police brutality is your example. Why do you think blacks encounter police so much? They commit more crimes.
There is
and not just like a little bit more.
Policing.
No, there's under policing. And how could you say such a thing? We have defunded the police in Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, largely defunded it. We saw crime rates go up.
I also want you to take in mind that when a whole group their opportunities to succeed economically, let's say they don't get that higher paying job because they chose a white person instead of a black person, that makes
Show me an example of where that happened recently.
That makes an entire community more prone to being lower income, and then that is lower income communities are directly related to like more crime activity.
But let me ask you a question. What percentage of young blacks have both a mom and a dad raising them?
I cannot think of a percentage right now to give you.
25%. So only 1 out of 4 blacks in America have a mom and a dad around. Do you think that is a bigger issue to address than racism? Do you think more dads is a better solution, or tackling racism, which you say you can't even see in our laws?
How could dads be connected directly?
Dads are very connected.
And what about,
when you have a dad around, you're less likely to be violent as a male, less likely to go to prison.
So explain to me why all the fathers are leaving.
Exactly. Why are they leaving?
Question for you.
Because black women married the government and divorced the men that they were once with.
Talk about white people right now.
I'm sorry, I'm a realist, not a racist. Secondly, see, you can come up to the mic and call me a racist to my face, or are you an intellectual coward and want to shout it from 30 feet away?
What a roller coaster. What a roller coaster, man. Oh, dear Lord. Charlie is really stepping up, and doing the work that parents, ideally should be doing. Yeah, there's no two ways about it, Parents should be doing this work as their children grow and develop, you see. But when a parent, fulfills this role, ladies and gentlemen, they help their children to become well-rounded individuals, who are compassionate, who are responsible, pretty much, But whenever this responsibility is overlooked, that's where the problem happens, That's where catastrophe, all of a sudden, comes into play, you see. And I think what Charlie really is doing is literally filling in the gap, and his actions, they demonstrate a deep sense of care, commitment, stepping into the role that pretty much, to a great extent requires patience, Oh my goodness. Charlie is patient, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. He's so patient. And that's something that's truly remarkable, and kudos to him for that, Kudos to him for that. It's inspiring, literally. Yeah, Well, I will say this. Without a clear moral code, to guide our decisions, every action and belief, is reduced to an endless cycle of intellectual debate, literally. And, where concepts, can be twisted, redefined to rationalize even the most immoral behaviors, In other words, it's not good enough, ladies and gentlemen. It's not good enough. Without objective moral standards, right and wrong become subjective. That's really what Charlie, was trying to, pretty much to show this kid, whom he was debating, Yeah, I mean, it's not good enough, I mean, because that will leave room for people to justify to justify evil, under the guise of logic, and it's never justifiable. You cannot justify evil. No, no matter what, which culture you come from. No, 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 no. It can't, I mean, what should be clearly condemned, becomes a matter of opinion, allowing moral boundaries to shift based on convenience rather than truth. When that happens, ladies and gentlemen, that's actually literally is the beginning of an erosion of a society. You see? Yeah, and I truly admire Charlie because, he was really patiently trying to pretty much, uncover it for this young guy, whom he was debating to see it for himself, because a lot of times, especially with the young guys nowadays, especially those in the schools, in the high schools, colleges, there is a lot of brainwashing that's happening, the manipulation of minds, with false narratives, one-sided viewpoints. You see? Yeah. And that's usually what happens when one spends a lot of time watching CNN, MSNBC, ABC, all those programs, The Veil, all those extreme left programs. Literally, that's what happens, Yeah, and when you watch a video like this, you wonder, what are they teaching the kids in schools nowadays? It's crazy. And my deepest desire is that this guy will someday identify and discover the truth for himself. Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this one, be sure to click this one also. See you again next time.